Piano has been a big part of my life for the past 10 years. I've been taking private lessons that whole time, and I've been playing across all genres, but for the past 2 years, I guess, I've been focusing on making my own arrangements of songs that I know and composing a few songs. So the music that you're listening to right now is this song I wrote last spring called 100 Measures. Me and my teacher wrote it out together by hand, which was a very big project, but by the time we did realize that it was exactly 100 measures long, and that was really cool, so that's where the title comes from. The next song is one that I composed really recently called A Chacun for Harlequin. It was a melody that I found in the back of this book about Italian theater. And then the last song is one of my favorites. I didn't write it, but it's called 100 Years, and I think it's one of the best piano songs out there. For the past 2 years, I've been taking this IB studio art class, and it's really propelled me along my artistic path, I suppose. I've been doing a lot of work with paintings and portraits, but I also was working with collage as well. And I ran into this big problem where I wanted to paint using oils, but oils and paper don't mix very well at all. In September, I discovered this new technique, which I've used a lot, where I seal the paper, whether it's maps or from old books, in wax. And the wax brings out this incredible color from the paper, and you can see the ink really clearly from both sides, and I can just seal it right on the canvas, right on the wood, whatever it is I'm working on, and then I can paint over it or paint around it. I've always been interested in illustrative drawing and portraits, so I've combined a sort of exploration of these materials, these old maps, these old books, which give me a lot of inspiration. I've been working with them in portraits and finding portraits within them. Also, these things like old books and old maps, they used to be functional, but now they've sort of become these things that are only aesthetic. And I've been exploring their place in art and sort of what they mean to me, why they inspire me so much. I guess when I work, I'm primarily in an experimental mode. I'm not really using rational thinking. I'm just relying on sort of aesthetic instincts, and it helps me to organize my thoughts and how I feel about these materials. But it also means I can create images which are visually pleasing to other people, so it's very personal but also accessible to others who just want something pretty to look at, I suppose. In November, I was invited to be part of this gallery and to hold my stuff up for the first time ever. It was in this really small gallery, which actually is this hair salon called Blow Salon in Berkeley, California. And the show is up now, and it's going to be up for 10 more weeks maybe, and that was the first time I had done something like that. So in October, I created just a ton of new pieces using this new technique that I discovered. And the opening was really cool. It wasn't really dry or stuffy or anything like that. It was really fun. The place kind of was pretty hip and kind of punk, and I got a chance to talk with other local artists who were, I guess, most of them are older than me though, and no one really believed that a high school student had created these pieces, so that was a bit of an ego boost, I suppose. And during that show, actually, I sold my very first piece that wasn't to a relative or something. I was talking about Ink and Rust, which is the one that I was working on earlier in the video. And this guy came up to me and started talking about it, and he said, well, I suppose I'll buy it then. And I was absolutely floored. I couldn't believe that this person actually wanted to buy my work, and he wrote me a check right there, and it was it was absolutely amazing. I was just so stunned, and I just really felt like it validated me as an artist, that I had accomplished this thing that sort of set me above my peers who just do art as a hobby, and now I can actually maybe even do it as a living or just pursue it in this way, and that way I think I'm a bit ahead of the curve. I sort of know what I want to investigate with my materials and how to use them. So That was really cool. I've worked some in digital art, doing things on the computer with Photoshop and Painter X. I've been doing drawings my whole life and continue to do so, and you've seen some of the collages that I've done. I've worked in acrylics and oils and pastels and scratch boards and all sorts of mediums until I've found this style of collage that really meshes well with what I'm trying to do. I still work in a lot of different mediums, but for the past semester I've been focusing on this technique using the collage and the wax and maps and papers. In one of the pieces here called Synesthete, I make a connection back to my music. Music is such a big part of my life and how I think and how I feel. In this one, I use these pieces of sheet music which has notes from me and my teacher written on them, things that I've played, and I put them around this figure listening to music and the color everywhere. And this was really inspired by my synesthesia, which is the connection between various senses, the sort of overlapping there. And I have this sound to color synesthesia, which means that when I hear music I actually see these visuals, and I've always been interested in finding ways to express that because it's a way of thinking that is different from most people. While synesthesia is it's more common than people think. I guess there's 1 in 20 people have it. You know, no one is probably going to see music the same way that I do, and so I try to express that in a lot of my art, especially by using colors in new ways that some people won't. Everyone always asks me if I'm going to be an artist when I grow up, and the question always really confuses me, and I tell them that I'm an artist now. I know that I'll continue to pursue these interests for the rest of my life and throughout college as well. The reason that I'm not applying to any art schools, I'm applying all to liberal art schools, is because I still have a lot of academic interests, and I know I have a lot to learn in those different fields. And I'm really interested to see what will happen to my art in conjunction with these different academic courses.